Are we back on? Did I hit the start stream button without even realizing it? Is that what happened? Alright, let's see if we can get these cameras set up in a way that makes some sense. That's right, because I got everything I need. So, we just need to... How's that? Has that got everything kind of in view there? And then we'll put the anvil... You get to look at my hair and mustache for a minute. Let's make the anvil one above that. We'll make it smaller. We'll make this the full screen. Like that, right? And maybe have... Come on, you bastard. There we go. Maybe put this up here. Handsome visage. Yeah. Well, we'll try this out. Is this anvil hammer or camera in a good spot here? I kind of wanted it to be focused more on the anvil itself. How's the audio? Remove the shirt. You fuckers. Like, I'm just sweating profusely already. I'm gonna fire up the forge and then go grab my drink, but let me get my... I have my one phone I like to keep for, I should have popped my shirt off. Does it still sound good when I'm back here? Everything good? Maybe we could turn this camera a little bit this way. How's that? Yeah, that gets the forge in there too, doesn't it? And my new grill in the background. Alright, cool. Well, let's fire up the forge here, and we'll get going. But before we do that, I like to turn on the gas. Oh, we're still open here, so let's close this. Turn on the gas and check for leaks. Because I got a little bottle of spray soapy water I spray on all the joints when I first turn on the gas pressure. And we just look to see if there's any bubbles or anything coming out. Everything looks good. Now we can turn on our gas here and ignite. There we go. Crack open a brewski. Give us something to work with here. I haven't taken the grill on its maiden voyage yet. Emraj got me that was my Father's Day gift. God, I gotta get a haircut, man. You guys just tell me to get a bad haircut. Make sure our magnets are on the anvil. These guys actually help reduce the anvil ringing. Now I'm gonna leave you guys to watch the forge heat up for a minute while I go grab my drink. Be right back. And let me put my phone down here. Alright, I'm back. Got a nice big old fat cup of water. Now look at this mason jar filled with water. Exquisite. Can I get my freaking thing to catch up on chat here? Alright. I need to keep this one over here. Bust out our couple tools. I might work on another leaf today. I'm kind of enjoying getting those things cooking nicely. Could also make like a little knife or something. What do you guys think? What do you want to see? I already got a leaf I started, so I could just keep on working on this guy, finish him off, and then we could do something else. You know? Now this I really don't like this one too much. It's kind of hideous. Quad cam. Get out of here. No quad cam around here. Oh yeah, this looks like it's gonna be good for having the anvil set up. We could strike this one a little bit more. Let's do that. We'll strike this leaf out a little bit more, and then we'll see what we're feeling after that. Turn around. Is the camera, everything working fine? Microphone's grabbing audio and whatnot? Anything glitching out? Good, good, good. And make sure my laptop's charging. It is. Alright, cool. I'm glad it's better set up. You guys can watch me like a big doofus. Looks like that camera's getting... That one's got the anvil in it pretty good too, doesn't it? Maybe down just a touch. So you guys can see the steam bucket. Yeah, we'll do that. Well, that's good, man. This didn't take me anything. This is working off the Wi-Fi in my house. So I didn't have to get the big giant Ethernet cord. All I needed was an extension cord for power. Alright, so let's see if we can grab this, or if we're going to need to use tongs. Nah, we can grab this. Maybe we'll tong it. I'm going to let it get a little hot. Yeah, we'll let it get a little hotter and we'll just tong it. Might as well be safe. No need to burn our hands. Everything's hot. It's like, hold back here. Find somewhere else to set my water where I don't have to keep stepping up in here to grab it. Mustache cam. Nico left already, the scoundrel. At least he was here. I can't give him shit. Alright, so let's give this guy a couple whacks and bust off some of this dust. Thin out this side a little bit. And bring out this bottom end some. Is that anvil ringing too loud on the camera? Because we can always adjust for that. We can turn the microphone down a little bit. I think we can go a little, we can thin this guy out a little bit more. Usually my magnets here are doing a pretty good job of... Now the magnets are getting a little crusty though. You don't go ahead and get these shavings out of here every once in a while. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if there's any new Chad's in here. Nope. Don't want our flame getting choked out here. Give this guy a little more working. About the same. It's a little thicker on this side. Not much. Yeah. Might go one more. I'll go one more set of taps. Anybody up to anything cool today? I say that because it's a million degrees here, as you can see by the profuse sweating. But I wanted to do this, and I'm glad this is set up nice. Should we zoom in the anvil camera, or is that good how it is there? I feel like you get a little bit of the forge in it too. And did this still stream under the makers and crafters thing, or did it just go under just chatting? Yeah, it went under makers and crafters. Alright, cool. I'll have to look at the replay after and see if it might be better to zoom in on the anvil a little bit, which we can do. That's not a big deal at all. Alright, so I want to get a little more thinning around the edges of this guy here. Now I'm liking this. I'm going to come right in the edge here. Get them hot. Cool our tongs off the touch. We're going to grab our chisel. Our chisel needs a little bit of help. I noticed last time he was having a little bit of issues. So while we're letting that heat up, bring the chisel over here. File down a little more on it. That should be good. So we get our chisel ready, got our hammer ready. We're going to grab our hold down. Make sure our magnet's out of the way. Set our hammer down here for now. Got our chisel right there. We're going to get him held in by our hold down tool here. Give that a nice whack. And then we can grab our chisel, spin this guy a little bit this way, and start making our lines again. this side here. Now it didn't quite connect into the stem there, but that's okay. Now we'll see if this camera gets things a little more in focus. We'll put this up here for you guys to take a peek at. So when this guy's all done, just give him a smack. You can just take him right back out of here. That's all you need. So now here, let's see if I can get this in. You might be able to see that we got some nice little lines now to give this leaf some more texture. You know, like the actual the veins and stuff that you would see in a real leaf. We'll check this guy and see if he's hot, because most metal will pull heat from other metal, of course, like a heat sink, so you don't want to be handling this thing if it's too hot. We are going to cool this down. Our next step with this is going to be to chop off a little chunk here and make a stem again. This one's a little bigger than the last one was. That's alright. Let's get a little bit of the water off there. Lock that in our vise. And then I'm going to mute. We're going to mute for a minute, because the cutoff tool gets pretty loud. Let me find here. This should mute us up. Alright, that should have been a lot better. What do we got here? This puts a whole new meaning into firing up some nice. Yeah, last time when I did that, I did not mute the microphone, and it wasn't good. Get this little burr off here. I mean, we can leave it on, it ain't really going to hurt nothing, but might as well get it out of there. Alright, so this is where we're going to start using our little lobster claw guy here. Lets us poke and move things around our forge without burning ourselves all up. Doing that, we'll get another sip from the jar. Now we still have plenty of material left over for whatever next things I want to make. Like this. I started this a while ago. This is like a handle I started making to turn this guy into some sort of crazy, maybe a big dagger or a short sword or something. Yeah, that'd be wacky, wouldn't it? Get this down in, nice handle on the end there. going to start drawing out the end. Let's get our tools back where we need them. Stay there, Mr. Hammer. Just like we did on the last one, we're going to square this shape up here. You can see if I get a better bite on here with the tongs. Okay, so yeah, this is starting to get a square end on it here, which is what we want for drawing out. We're just going to hit each side, and this is just going to start lengthening out for us. Those bee hooks crush my hand. It does. They're all right. I've swung plenty of hammers in my day, that's for sure. All the years doing construction stuff. Now this part's just our heat and repeat for a while. Let me get my battery. I'll bring out another battery later, but let me get my battery back in my drill and get our wire brush back in here. We just hang our drill over here for now. Better grip up here. There we go. Already, as you can see, we've already got a pretty good stem here. Again, just from what we initially were drawing out. It started as like a little tiny nub. They're just gonna keep working that. Man, it's a hot one today. I'm glad this laptop setup's working. This is cool. This is really cool. Get our wire brush in here. Yeah, it's no problem, Bagger. Just take the week off. Thank you very much. it like this because we're starting to, there we go. We're starting to get out of shape a little bit. I still want to keep this as square as I can. Leaf got a little bit off there from the way I was holding. We can fix that even while it's cold. Pound that back to flat. And we're still getting a nice stem here. Back into the heat we go. I'm going to make a little letter opener after this leaf is done. You like the two cameras? Well, I could do a third one too. I just didn't really know where to set it. I didn't know if we needed a third one like pointing at the forge or maybe pointing towards the vise here, but I feel like the main camera gets the vise pretty well. Yeah. Let that get warm. Get out of here. Does the microphone catch me even when I'm back here? Can you guys still hear me talking when I'm back at the vise? Oh, hey, Joseph. Welcome in. Finally got like a laptop set up outside instead of trying to do this streaming from my cell phone. So let's lock in a little better on this heat. Bring this end down a little bit more. Not too many hits while we're cold. The quickest way to tell if you're cold is, you can do this little trick if you can't see the heat, is if it starts sticking to the magnet when we go onto the side here, that means it's too cold for hitting. So see, we're sticking. So when I heat this up, I'll show you, it will come back to the magnet, and when the metal's hot, it loses that like magnetism, so it will not stick to a magnet. To talk a bit louder, well, loud is something I can do very well. Grab some more mason jar water. Yeah, I got the one phone back here with chat on it, and then chat up there on the screen. So, trying to keep all angles that I can. Bagler wants me to get one of those slap chop guy Bluetooth headsets so I can look like a real doofus. I told him I'll do it. I ain't scared. See if we can get a couple nice heavy blows on this one. Yeah, like that. Bring this over a little bit so we can start getting our square shape fixed. Sometimes you're pounding a little too hard, your square will start to wander off. And that's okay, it's metal. We're sticking already. This one's stem's not quite as long as the other ones, but that's okay. Yeah, maybe I'll whip up a little letter opener or something. lizard just came crawling down the roof of my structure here. You know, we could make a little letter opener, or we could keep working on this sword. This is going to take a lot of work, though. I mean, we could do it. We could start today and just keep working on it. Heat it up and get this end flattened out. Maybe we will. I have somewhere I have to leave about 2 o'clock, so... Well, maybe 2:30. Let's see how much time we got. Right, so this is getting a little funky here, so let's take a heat. See how it won't stick now? Nothing. We can take this heat and kind of just straighten ourselves out again. Not as heavy a blow. We're just trying to get everybody back to being square. Maybe a little bit right here. Oh. Remember, everything's hot. So if it falls down, resist the urge to try and grab it. Don't just let it fall. It's metal. And I'm outside, so it's just going to fall on my grass and dirt ground here and be just fine. We're getting off bent a little bit here, so I'm going to see if I can bring this. Yeah. Yeah, see, so we're still getting good stem action here. We'll draw this out. We can still draw this out a bit more. Probably get another ½ inch or inch of length out of it. Cam. Get out of here, I'm Rad. Unless you got better ideas for camera positions or a haircut that doesn't give me Estelle Getty's Golden Girls afro. Is this Golden Girls afro? Obviously, as we get thinner, we don't have to leave the metal in the heat quite as long. I'm just working from the stem of the leaf out towards the end. Get as much work as we can. And once you start hearing that ringing getting a little bit louder like we're hearing right now, that means the metal's getting cool again. So we'll get her back in the heat. Drawing out thin stuff like this is a lot of heat, repeat. As it gets thinner, we're going to be moving faster between the heat. But we'll round our stem probably in 2 heats, and then we'll divot the leaf again to give it its folds like we did last time, and then we'll spin our stem and we should be done. Try and give this a little bit of a whack while we're still hot to, yeah, that'll work. this part on this end. So we're going to take a couple more whacks here to draw this out from the thicker parts. Get that back in the heat. Oh, I got dragonflies hanging around. I'm sure you guys can't see them on the camera, but my yard's always got dragonflies in it. There's tons of them. It's pretty cool. Yeah, these heats are going to get nice and frequent. Let's get our magnet back on here, help absorb some of that noise. I'll take a little more from here. Look how long we're getting there now. This stem's getting pretty good. I'm going to take a little more. I'm going to do one more heat for drawing out. Right now I'm just straightening it out. At this temperature, I'm not going to hurt anything. Giving it a little straightening out. But we'll give her one more heat, and then we'll start rounding. One more heat worth drawing out should be good. Hey, Wintry Mix. Hey to you as well, and thanks for the good luck. Finishing up a leaf, and then we might work on a little letter opener, or finish this like knife thing I've been toying with for like the last year. This a little bit better of a grip here. Alright, so let's take a little more out this way. Draw this part out a little bit more. Yeah. Now I'm going to turn it on its angles here, and we're going to start pounding these corners down. We're going to give it a heat before we do that. I guess I could start the initial little tacks here. Now. Yeah. So this heat, we're going to round out the edges, but we're not going to spin yet. We're just going to focus on rounding out to get that square stem back to a round looking one. And then the next heat, we're going to fold the leaf, give it just a little texture, and then we'll spin the stem and it'll be done. And these heats are going really quick, as you can see. It's almost ready to come back out. Now we're just going to turn her on the angle itself. One angle on the anvil, one angle up in the air. And we're just going to bap down on the angles themselves. Once you get those initial whacks in, start spinning. I like to start at the end. So we can start just spinning this around. I'm not hitting it really hard. Now remember, all blacksmiths have different ways that they like to do things, different techniques. Now obviously tons and tons of smithing techniques have been done over the years. There's the basic fundamental ones. I like doing these quick little, I'm choking up on the hammerhead a little bit and doing these quick little taps around it. And we'll straighten this out and I'll show you in the camera that we're starting to get a nice round thing going here. I don't know how well you can see that on my little camera here. Maybe it's better if I leave it on the anvil. So we'll get her back in the heat and we're going to keep rounding out. Oh, a little too far in. I don't need the leaf part heated up right now, so we're trying to just get the stem. See if the computer's not really feeling hot. That's good. I mean, it is hot out. We're in Georgia, so it's hot. But we're under some nice shade. It's a beautiful, cool day. In the shade, at least. Nice wind catching us. Outside, though, not cool. We're going to cool off our executive buddy here, too. Alright, it's going back to rounding. Yeah, we'll keep using this flat. My hammer has two faces, and one of them is slightly more convex than the other one. Which is good for lots of different things, a rounding hammer. But for this instance, I want the flat hammer. We're really starting to get nice and rounded out here. You do one more heat. I know I keep saying that, but blacksmithing, we can do as many heats as we want, right? You got the forge right here. You guys get to hear them birds singing. Alright. This is going to be our final rounding heat. We'll round, then we'll straighten this guy out. We bring him down to this end. So yeah, I'll let this sit on the anvil for a minute while I get a drink. Let the anvil pull out some of the heat. Since it's thin, it shouldn't really be a big problem. Let the hammer sit right on the other end of it. I'm going to grab a drink. And then we're going to cool off the stem. need to shape it. Shape the leaf itself. Here comes your sizzle. Now, the leaf had more heat stored in it than the stem did because it's fatter. Science! I always check with the back of the hand when we're checking our temperatures. More sensitive. So we're cool. Now we're going to go in this way. So I kind of have to grab a little angle because of the way my tongs are. I got my smaller tongs in here we can use to do this part. We want our rounding tongs. No, actually we don't need the rounders yet. We need to make sure we have our chisel on standby though. That's going to be important here. Chisel and hammer. And balance. Chisel, hammer, and some balance. It's going to go a long way. I like to do is, while this is hot, get this in the little groove here. Just hold a little force on it. And we start tapping. You can bring this back a little bit here. Alright, come on, get a little groove. Okay, now let's get it in a little heat. You can see we started getting a little shape there. So next heat we're going to get it like right here, and then we'll pound her in. We don't have to hit it too hard either. Thin, not too crazy. Can we get 20 squats facing the grill? I'm not Iron Man. I'll give you 2 squats facing the grill. That's what you get. You get 2 squats facing the grill, and I'll give a couple bicep flexes for you. Come on, baby. Get your grip up. There we go. Yeah. Let's get a touch more heat on here. I want to get a little more bend towards the end of the stem here. Probably don't need to do much more, though. A couple squats facing the camera. So I get a hammer with a fatter handle on it and put blacksmith daddy at the end of it. Sear it into there. Yeah, I want the end of this to get a little warmer so we can bend that down by the stem there. want like a nice hit right like here. Yeah, that's gonna be the good stuff. Yeah. Hoi. Oh, look at that. That's looking like a pretty textured looking leaf. I don't even think I want to do anything else to it. Might do one of my little leaf veins here is a little, leave something to be desired. Yeah. Yeah, we can tighten those guys up a little bit. That's the great part about metalworking too, is like most other forms of art, except for like wood maybe, I can always just come back here. If I see something I want to fix, well, then just fix it. Get in here with these lines real visible. Let me get this end one here. Might as well just hit them all, right? We're already here. Yeah. Yeah. Now we can curl this down. Get our chisel out of the way. Get this back into the heat. Wipe the sweat off our brow. We might take a piece of this stock that I have here and make like a little letter opener or a little knife with it. That's what we might do. I couldn't mind doing a little knife derusting. Let's grab our boys here. This one will twist this way. We don't go too crazy. Once she starts getting, maybe a little more. Once she starts getting magnetic, yeah. Get that back in the heat. That for the blade. Maybe that much. We're just going to score that, and we're going to come back and hit it with the angle grinder. Can't quite get this guy to come out of here. Alright. Bring this in a little bit like this. Tighten up this a little bit. Like so. We can even bring this a little more past that. back in some heat. You can see we're getting nice little round stem again. Classic. I'm liking this one. I think this leaf's going to be really nice. They're all a little bit different, which is cool. We'll have enough time to at least start this. We'll probably switch over to our big hammer for this guy, especially for the drawing out of the handle. Here we're just going to bring back a little bit, bring this in a little bit, and then we're going to curl this end around. Yeah, we'll apply a little more heat. Bring this end in. Let's get a little more heat on it. We might as well finish that and then we'll cut this. Mute the camera and cut. Take our hammer here. We're going to use the wood here so we don't like put marks in. Yeah, I like this one. I like how that twist came out on that one. Nice little wrap around. Yeah. Yeah. We'll cool this guy down. So this is going to be ready for the wire wheel. But first we're going to cut our piece of stock that we're going to use for this letter opener knife that we're making. And then I'm going to mute for that. Alright. Good chance that's going to be hot. So just to be safe, I'm going to pick that up off the ground with my tongs. Well, we'll give it the smack test first. Get this guy back up. Okay, it's actually not bad. We're going to send him into the heat. Yeah. Move our rounders. Get this guy, our vise here. find a better way to get these guys to stay up here. Maybe I can hook them on this. That might not fit. And there we have it. Maybe in this camera it's a little bit shinier, but you know, the metal starts off looking like this dull junk, and then we can turn it into something real nice and cool. And we'll hit this with a little bit of clear coat, and that'll be that. All right. Trying to let obviously our stock for our knife's a bit thicker, so we're going to have to let that heat up for a little bit longer. Yeah, I like these little leaves. It's good practice stuff too. You get a lot of different techniques just out of one little item. Our metal out. The first thing we're going to do is set a mark for where the blade and handle are going to be separate. So that's probably about right there. So, obviously, we're not the prettiest yet, but this is where we're starting. So, this divot that I made right on the underside where my finger here is, this is where the blade is going to be, and this is where we're going to transition this into a handle that's going to wrap around onto itself. So we'll start with the handle, and then we'll work on the blade. The first use of the grill is going to be coming up Monday. Monday will be the first grilling. They got this box at Aldi for like 65 bucks. That's like it's the Grill Masters box. It's got like 2 steaks. Let's have 4 or 6 different kinds of steaks, some pork chops, some chicken, some dogs. Like it's the Grill Master meat box. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, sounds incredible, doesn't it? We went to Aldi yesterday and got these, I gotta buy some utensils for the grill. I don't have any metal spatula and stuff for the grill, but we went to Aldi yesterday and bought these chicken skewers, these cilantro lime chicken skewers, and these little thin smash burgers. Man, I can't wait to fire the grill and put those bad boys on. We can actually use the horn of our anvil here too, which helps us draw things out a little bit faster. And look at how much we're already getting out of here. You know? Yeah, that magnet's not going to stay on the horn while I'm using it to smash this. It ain't going to happen. And that's alright. We can just move the magnet to the other side of the anvil for now. These are just old Harbor Freight welding magnets. They're really good for all sorts of stuff in the forge. Keep going. Those we just did in the oven last night, those cilantro lime sticks. You get like 10 of them for $7. Aldi's ridiculous, man. I got 5 pounds of skinless chicken breast there for like $13 here. I couldn't believe it. And there's one that just opened up like really close to my house. I was excited for that. Normally I'm driving 15, that's about 20 minutes to get to the Publix or the Walmart, like 15, 20. Now the Aldi's is only like 10. Go on. So I'm going to heat up the joint between these guys, because what I want to do is the blade's starting to curl up some, which I don't want at the moment. So we're going to take it out of here. We're going to put it flat on the anvil. And then we're going to bring that back so that we're back on the same flat plane all around. Now we can go back to, let that fall. Catching our grass on fire. This is still hot. This is still going to be hot for a little bit, so I can still work on this. Try and keep everything nice and straight and lined up the whole time here. And this should be getting, yeah, should be getting cool now. All the grass around my forge is starting to die from me walking, the anvil's starting to die from me walking on it, which I'm not, I knew that was coming. That's why I wanted this set up. This is in the way back of my yard. This week we're going to do, Emerald and I were talking about starting to set up some planter beds, some raised garden beds, and get a couple fruit trees. We got a pretty, really decent sized yard here. So I can go ahead and get a couple fruit trees planted and some garden beds, get some veggies going. We're still talking about getting chickens. Now, a lot of stuff to still figure out on the burner. Now, let me pick this up. We don't really need our chisel right now, so we can go ahead and put him back on the rack. How's the stream quality, Ben? Are we still doing okay? Is it much? I'm hoping it's much better than the cell phone stuff was. So let's get this back to flat here. There we go. Nice good hits. This side a little bit. There we go. Bring that back down. Kind of lost my grip here. I'm gonna try. I have another pair of tongs that might be okay for this. Every once in a while, we're just going to put this back, bring it back to flat. Yeah. I'm going to do one more heat on this, and then we're going to actually start shaping the blade, because I don't want to work on the blade while this thing's thin and we already have a handle on it. Like, we want to work the blade, no edge or anything, but shape the blade first, and we'll have this nice stock to grab onto with our tongs. And then after the blade is shaped, we can use our blade handling tongs to hold while we keep working out the handle. So we have flat tongs here. These flat tongs are really good for taking a bite on the blade. We might actually heat these up. Well, they might be good at this. Good thing about the tools is we can adjust them. So if my tongs aren't feeling the best, I'm actually going to do that. We're going to put a little heat on them. We're going to take them over into the vise and tighten them up a little bit. You never got to excuse yourself for those, dude. Work is important. My poor twisting wrench here, man. I gotta find a better way to hang this guy. No, like, hole in the end or anything. Normally he just hangs out there and he's fine. Them tongs are going to be heating up for a little bit. Take a couple more swings at this, and then we won't need to hit this part for now. We're going to switch over to hitting the, starting to form the blade. Smooth, flat surface. I want as much of it to be flat with the top as possible here. Alright. So we're going to switch now. We can cool this down. Although it's just going to get hot again, so I guess we don't really need to. But now we're going to start actually heating up the blade end. First thing we're going to do is put a point on it, which is literally just going to be me taking this at the angle like this, pow, pow, powing it down. Tongs are pretty hot. Alright. These guys. Quite hot. Yeah. I'll let them cool down. Cool down on this rock. Put this up at a little bit of an angle here. A nice grip with the tongs. Start kind of closing this in on itself. See, we're starting to get a little bit of a point here on the end. It's not going to be perfect, obviously. Oh, wind's getting a little too intense for our porch here. Shut down. Choke out some of that wind a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, the gusts feel nice. Might be getting low on propane too. Let's see how we're doing here. Nah, we're still okay. Increase our propane flow a little bit. Seems to like it right about there. Now we're going to start getting a little bit of a blade profile going here. Now, we definitely won't, certainly won't have time to finish this today. Yeah. But it'll be a project for us to maybe work on tomorrow. I do also want to get back to streaming some Age of Empires. I've been having a lot of fun with this blacksmith stuff. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. I'm going to be doing it either way, so having a couple people to talk to, I'm just going to talk to myself, right? I'll do that anyway. But having some people to talk to while I'm doing it always fun. And maybe you guys learn a thing or two. I'm no expert, but then again, most blacksmiths say that they're not an expert. Because there's always stuff to learn. As soon as you claim you know everything, you don't know anything. Right? Some sage advice for you. Slay. How you doing? It's always practice. I practice and practice all day long. So we're gonna pound out. We're gonna thin this blade up a little bit. This blade's gonna be thick at the top. Yeah. As you guys can see here, we're starting to get an actual blade shape. I got a phone call, so I'm going to see what it is and mute accordingly. Yes, I'll be right back, friends. Can you guys hear me? Let's get back to going. Let's get back to it. So, we're getting more blade shape. Starting to get the little point on the end of the blade here. Maybe this camera might be better for showing these things. I don't know. I don't know which one's better. But we're also starting to make the bottom part here thinner, and the spine straight across the top here is going to obviously be thicker. We don't need the spine to be, 3 inches thick. We can bring that down. I'm so much happier with this new setup, man. I'm glad this is working out better. I don't want Stream Manager. I just want to get back into my stream can have my other chat here. My channel. Yeah, let me just click live. Yeah, here we go. Sweet. We're back in. A little couple hits on the other direction here, so we kind of have the hammer, the handle like feather in nicely. Yeah, there we go. What we're trying to do is there's a transition. I don't know how well you can see it, right about here, that we want both sides of the where the handle's going to be to smoothly go into our blade. Looks like we're getting that. Tongs started getting a little warm on us. Emraj, are you still on? I need a refill, but with the wind blowing, I don't want to leave the forge. Can I hand you my cup for a refill? The wind almost blew the forge out once, so I don't want to leave it unattended. I'm going to straighten this up a little bit while we still haven't really made a blade shape yet. All I'm working on here is getting the spine realigned again. There. That way we have a nice smooth from the spine handle all the way across. Get this back in some heat. Why, thank you. Thanks. MVP Emraj gave us another mason jar filled with poison water. It smells like coconuts. Hey, Riggs. Riggs! I'm tired of this shit, Riggs. I'm too old. Good to see you. Yeah, get our hammer a little more back on the head here. Every once in a while, you gotta show these guys who's boss. How have you been, Riggs? Hopefully you're doing well. A salute. I can get back and salute. A blacksmith salute. We'll salute with our hammer and tongs. Hammer and tong salute. So we can go for a little while longer, probably got another half hour, and then we'll have to button it up. Like I said, we probably won't finish this letter opener knife, but we will have a good... This is going to be a lot bigger than a letter opener, by the way. This is going to be like a little knife. I mean, look how big this is already. So let's start getting our shapes back into place here. Getting our transition here some. So get a little more heat on this. Yeah, I think the spine's almost where I want it. Now you notice the blade's starting to curve down, but once we start pounding this metal out here to get in the shape of the blade, it's going to actually start straightening it back out. Not our magnets. I'm not using the horn right now, so I could put my magnet back on the horn. There we go. I'm doing good. It's a nice, like 80-degree day here in sunny Georgia. But we are getting some nice breeze, so we can't really complain. We made a pretty sweet leaf earlier in the stream, just ready for some clear coat. This is something you put on a little keychain, or you want, you know, a youth hanging on their backpack or something. I'm thinking about starting to make things to go to like crafting fairs and stuff to sell these little letter openers and stuff like these leaves and other things that I've made. This ain't exactly going to be a little letter opener. This is pretty good. It's a pretty good size here. Get the top as flat as I can. For the spine here. Alright, so we'll get a little close up on this here. So we're getting the actual blade shape, which is getting nice. The spine, which you probably can't see stupendously in the camera though, but the spine is getting about the same diameter width the whole way up, which is what I want. Needs a little bit of adjusting, a little bit of straightening out. That's all easy stuff to do in the world of metal. A couple hits here, a couple hits there. Everybody's happy. I can feel the heat starting to travel up them. I'll give those guys a nice cool down, hang out in the anvil. You, sir, are the greatest artist who ever lived. I've been smithing now for about a year and a half. I took my first lesson in January of 2024. I wasn't consistent. During the time I wasn't consistently streaming, I was also not consistently smithing. Emraj and I were just fully focused on getting a house. But now that things have smoothed out some, It's been nice getting a balance back on. So now we can start forming the bottom of the blade. And the trick when we're actually making the blade part, thinning the metal down, is you want to do the same amount of strikes on each side. So we'll strike this side, flip it over, we'll strike the other side. Try and do the same amount of strikes with the same force to keep everything uniform on the metal. We don't want like one side thicker than the other, or like the blade being flat on one end and like sharp into it the other way. We want them both to come together. That was 18 hits. That was 23. So see, now the blade's starting to curl up, which is fine. We can always give it a heat and we'll pound that back down to flat. Not a big deal. Why it's doing that is because we're spreading the metal at the bottom out. So obviously it's got to travel somewhere. The metal's not just disappearing as we're striking it. So we'll get a little heat, we'll straighten it out, and then we'll smack it again. I can't wait, guys. Should we stream me finishing this sword? Look at, I already got like the perfect handle set. Get a nice guard, we can make a nice pommel for it, we can make a handle out of some wood, and this baby's just gonna pound out nice, man. This could be really, this is gonna lengthen out quite a bit and get some nice sides on it. For the most part. Only when I'm doing that blade forming part. I'm trying to make sure I consistently do the same amount of hits on each side. When I'm just forming the metal normally and stuff, I'm not counting it. Let's see if we can tap ourselves back down. We don't want to mess with this part too much. So we can give this a little whacking. Remember, as I tap where the blade is, because I'm hitting on the blade part we just made, we're making little flat spots. So we don't want to smack it too much. And now if you look, we're back to kind of a straight looking knife again. So all I'm going to do is do a little love taps on this to get the blade back to being straight up and down this way, as you can see. And then we're going to get back in heat, and then we're going to do another series of strikes along the bottom. Now I have an electric belt sander, you know, like a big belt sander that I like to use to shapen the blades up at the end, but I'm not going to do that today because we're not even going to be close to that. We got about 10-15 more minutes we can go, according to my Casio gentleman's watch. I also have this very large, let's get this out of here. So at the blacksmith meetings I go to, they like to do this thing called Iron in a Hat. And Iron in a Hat is where you can enter a raffle to just win a bunch of pieces of metal and steel. Like, look at this. This is a giant old, like, farrier's file for making horseshoes and stuff, but you can pound this into a knife real easy. You know, and then I have tons and tons of railroad spikes. Somebody welded these two together. But yeah, so like I got all this metal in here. Look at this thing. This cool like little doing. Nice piece of steel too, yeah. You know, nice little block of, this is actually a striker plate. I gotta keep that out. And then inside the house, I have like, oh, look at this. This axe head could be turned into a nice cutoff, you know, for cutting off chunks. Yeah, like this is lots of good stuff here. So I got projects, stuff to do, projects for a long time with. Let's see if we can get this back on the anvil. Is that good there? Is that like how it was? Or is it more like here? I've been keeping that under my little table here. I also have this cool thing I made, which is a punch on one end and a chisel on the other end. So you can have, you know, have nice lengthy times. I should be using this more, like I made the blasted thing. Yeah, let's keep this out. Is that camera set up good where it is? Alright, so let's take a couple more strikes at the bottom here. That was 20. That was 20 as well. Ten. So see how we're starting to curl up again? But we can actually start seeing the blade is starting to take shape here. And this, we'll file this down flat. We'll file this point out nice. Like we just file all that too. You think so? Renaissance Fair? Well, I like teaching people. I like showing people stuff. I was a teacher for a while, back in a different chief lifetime. Might be cool to do a display at a Renaissance Fair. The cool stuff is, you know, like my anvil and stuff aren't particularly huge, and my post vise, the base and stuff we built it out, like you guys see the picture, is designed to be mobile. I can just pack those guys up in the truck. I've been doing this since January of 2024, rigs, but I haven't consistently been doing it, to be honest. I've been slacking off. I've probably been to my mentor shop 15 times, maybe 20. That's pushing it. But I think about 15, 18 times in total I've been down to where my mentor is. This is like the third time we've streamed it. And then I had a forge set up where I used to live that I was working on stuff, but not regularly, not consistently. I want to get back into doing it pretty consistently. That was 29 hits. I'm going to switch to my left hand here. Getting a little cold, but... Alright, so our next heat, we're going to bring this back to getting it flat again. I switched to my left hand because it's hard sometimes, like, I can pull this way to like get those hits on the metal there, but it's hard to like push it. So luckily I can use both my hands for most things. So we can get our nice pulling strokes this way. You guys see me fire up the grill consistently? It's right there, isn't it? Got Emrage's plants on it. Now keep in mind, this grill is like only 3 feet tall because, as Bagler would point out, I'm only like 4'3". So, you know, like my anvil, this is the toy anvil from the kids section. And these hammers are also toy hammers. I'm 4'11". You know? It's like this hammer right here. This hammer is like 6 inches long. It's a tiny hammer. But in my hands, it looks huge. I tag everything with Godzilla. Johnny Sins. All my streams are tagged with Godzilla because I happen to be the Godzilla Monster of Monsters MVP. I think I also have it tagged with some friends' names. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Alright, so we're going to give this a little more, get this guy back to flat on top here. We got to be careful though, because as we're striking it, our blade is wanting to bend. Because the blade's getting thin now. I'll do just a little whack here to bring this guy back to flat. So now we're back to straight again. And our blade is almost exactly where we want it to be. So, we're going to do another heat and then we're just going to smooth this out. Because the blade's actually... What do we got here? Nice, Johnny. Here you go. I want to read it. You watched all the movies? Yeah, we're Godzilla fans around here. Awesome. Glad to have you here. We're Godzilla fans. And I got my toupee is glued on nicely today. Don't you guys think? Like, nice toupee. Anybody who goes to the store and buys a toupee that looks like this already has problems. Alright. Like, this is just a full... If this was white, it'd be like a powdered wig. Imagine walking into the toupee store and being like, can you give me the B. Arthur? Can you give me the Golden Girls haircut, please? I gotta go get this cut, dude. Look at this. Is nuts. Like, I can spike this out. Look how long this gets. It's wild. Nobody said anything about my mustache being back either, scoundrels. Get a high taper fade? Oh yeah. Get the high top fade where I just get the top looking square. I could do it. Alright, so this heat here, we're just shaping the blade back to being flat. That's all we want. It's just tiny taps. I'm even going to get down for this to actually check my work. Perfect workmanship. Yeah, Godzilla fan, you are in the right place. There's going to be a lot of me just small taps and peaks and making sure everything's good here. What do you think? Now we're actually starting to get a blade compared to our handle, which we're going to draw out more after this. We just wanted to get the shape in. Do the Hulk Hogan mustache? I might as well just shave the top of my head for that, right? Or if I wait like 10 more years, I'll already have that Hulk Hogan bald spot. I like to tease myself about losing my hair, but as you can see, Emraj likes to point out that I have a ridiculous amount of it, so I guess I have some to spare. These are cold hits, but this is me just like plenishing. I'm just like seeing certain marks that I don't want to see in here anymore. We're taking them out. Alright, let's check what time it is. Alright, so it's 1:30. I probably got to end stream. I'm going to cool down the blade here. And I'm going to do one more heat on the handle itself to start drawing it out. Godzilla. I'm not sure what that means, to be honest. My Godzilla fandom is purely some of the movies and that particular video game for NES, the first NES Godzilla game, Godzilla Monster. So I'm not what you would say a definitive Godzilla fan, but we like talking about Godzilla here. We got no problems with Godzilla. I watched a lot of the older, Godzilla movies with my grandfather when I was a lad. But my love is a nostalgic love for that particular Nintendo game, mainly. I have some Godzilla collectibles and whatnot. Just a friend of mine, Mitri, sent me a whole box of stuff. Oh, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I wouldn't be against that. I'd like to get one of Gigan. Gigan, when I was a kid, was always my favorite kaiju. I know everyone calls him the space chicken or robot chicken or whatever, but I still think I thought he was so cool when I was a kid, with the big hook arms, saw blade coming out of his gut. Just awesome. Alright, so here, we're going to start pounding the actual handle itself. Oh, butterfly. Spooked me a little bit. Caught me off guard. I saw something big entering in my field of vision. Yesterday when I was outside, we had a big, gigantic falcon in the yard. And my dog wanted to come out and play with him. I hadn't seen a falcon that big. Like, I'm telling you, he was taller than my hammer. He was a big falcon. Well, my hammer's only 6 inches tall, but he was a big falcon. Alright, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. Since we're done with the forge for today. But what we're going to end up doing with this is, this handle is going to get drawn out, and it's going to get long enough that we're going to curl it back in on itself. So we actually have like a handle that we can hold the knife with. Once we make that, we can come in and clean up the blade. But that's the next step, and we could easily get that done tomorrow. For now, we're just going to let him chill out on the anvil and cool down. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. Let me see what you were saying in here. Oh, thanks for the follow, Johnny. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to split on out. I appreciate you guys hanging out for the first stream on the computer here. I think it went pretty well. And it seems like it was much smoother than the last stream, so we'll go ahead and close up shop, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You know what? We can raid somebody. I can actually not be a dunderhead and type in the /raid command here. Who's on? Let's raid someone. We'll go raid Slay. Oh, I didn't put the E in there. Whoops. EVRY. Yeah. Make sure did I get it in there? Alright. Go say hi to Slay, guys. Slay's cool. He was in here earlier. He's streaming some little Nemo. Bagler likes that game a lot. You guys go have fun. Did the raid start? My chat thing is so tiny I can't tell. Yeah, here we go. Alright, guys. Take it easy.